everyone, that's Black here, and welcome back to my game corner. Hope you're doing fine, because I certainly am, and welcome to the new episode of my gaming podcast. This is the first real episode we have, because the previous one was sort of a pilot episode, sort of episode 0, where I was talking about Undertale, and if you haven't listened to my first episode, well, episode 0, go on and check it out, it's pretty interesting. And today, in this episode, we're going to talk about Hollow Knight. I promised you a Metroidvania marathon. In my New Year YouTube video, I was talking about Metroidvania marathon that I was planning to start in the end of the spring and in the beginning of summer. And here it is, we start our Metroidvania marathon with Hollow Knight. I really wanted to start with a game that everybody knows about, that is really extremely popular, and everyone has their own opinion about this game. I think that Hollow Knight might be not the best Metroidvania for me, but I know that many people do love it a lot, and I guess that many people know only Hollow Knight as a Metroidvania. And to be honest, I have a lot of stuff to tell you about Hollow Knight, although I'm not a professional in this type of genre. You know that I enjoy horror and shooter genres more. I know them better than Metroidvanias, but that doesn't mean that I am not going to tell you a lot of stuff that I had in this game. Anyways, since I'm not a professional, this whole podcast is, of course, my own opinion, stuff that I stumbled upon when I was playing the game for the first time. And I was playing the game a lot in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. So I know quite a lot about Hollow Knight, although I need to say before we start to talk about the whole game, I never actually completed the game, but I know all the endings, well, practically all the endings, and I know how the game ends, I know the final bosses, I can understand how hard they are, but I stopped, in my main walkthrough that I was playing, I stopped at the Pantheon, the third Pantheon. I was stuck there because Sly is a hard enemy. Anyways, I had a lot of trouble with the third Pantheon and I didn't get through it, and then I stopped playing the game for such a long time that I forgot about how I should fight the bosses, and that's why I never actually completed the game, never beat it myself, but I know the bosses, so I think I can just talk about this, but if you want, you can take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it's not professional when you're talking about the game that you have never completed, but I think that since I have enough experience, I can at least try to explain you what I think about the end game bosses, and I think that they're hard, but we're gonna talk about this a little later. Anyways, let's start with what the hell are Metroidvanias, because I don't think that everybody knows what this genre is all about. Metroidvanias are games where you have practically open world, or for the instance in this time we have a huge kingdom where we are located, and every time you go into a location you can explore it for about like certain percentage. For example, you get into one location and you explore everything you can, and there are some crevices and spots where you cannot go because you don't have abilities that you will find later on in the game exploring other locations. And after you found these abilities, you will be able to backtrack to the previous location and just get to the places you haven't been to and explore the location further, find some like collectibles and stuff. And this is pretty interesting. People love those kinds of games and I can understand them. I'm not a big fan, I just like platformer type of games, and I think that sometimes it's pretty calming to like go around and explore huge locations to find other ways to get into some locations, and trust me, Hollow Knight has a lot of that, and we're gonna talk about this actually, and this is a huge deal, trust me, this is gonna be really fun. So, we're starting with Hollow Knight because Hollow Knight is the most popular Metroidvania game. Everybody knows about it, everybody loves it, everybody cares about it a bit too much, and I think that people think that Hollow Knight is one of the best Metroidvanias to ever exist, which I don't think is true, but, well, people say so, and okay, I think that they might have their own opinion, and maybe it actually is one of the best Metroidvanias to exist. I wouldn't know because I don't know the specifics of the genre too much, and I'm not into all that stuff all the time. So I guess, why not? I know many people do love Hollow Knight much more than any other Metroidvania game, but I have a game in this genre which I love a lot more than Hollow Knight. And of course I will tell you about this game. The next video is gonna be about this game, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. And I hope you will enjoy that video and you will enjoy this podcast too. In any case, let's start with how I actually got into this game, how I actually got to know what Hollow Knight is, because I am, like I said, I'm not a fan of the genre. And at the time, in that year, I was mostly playing horror games. So I was into Outlast, Amnesia, and so on and so forth. So I didn't care about platformers that much. I didn't care about Metroidvanias at all. And the only Metroidvania I was playing at the time was Ori and the Blind Forest. And I didn't care about any other game like that. Though they're interesting, but I was like a kid from another genre, I would say. A kid who was dressing up on Five Nights at Freddy's and stuff. So I wouldn't know anything about the game if it wasn't for my friend, who one day he just came to me and he was like, "There's this game, you'd love it." And I'm like, wow, what is this game? I don't remember if he actually gifted me Hollow Knight or if he just shown me some of the specifics of the game and I started to like it. But I remember that I got my hands on this game pretty fast after he told me about it. And I remember that some part of my first walkthrough of the game was with him. So he was like sitting nearby watching how I play and telling me some secrets and stuff that I should know about the game, which was kind of interesting. I enjoyed that. It was fun while it lasted, actually, because at one point he started to say some bad things, but we're gonna talk about this a bit later, a bit further on. So I think that this guy was too much into Hollow Knight, and he was into Hollow Knight for a very long time. Even after I stopped thinking about Hollow Knight, he was still there, and he was still saying and claiming that this is the best Metroidvania game ever, and I don't blame him. I think he played a huge role and part in forming my opinion about Hollow Knight in general. So it is all thanks to my great friend Ivan. If you're watching this, hello. I still remember how you dragged me into Hollow Knight. I don't think he's watching, but just in case, you know. Anyways, Hollow Knight starts with Kingdom's Pass. Well, it starts actually with a random speech from someone you don't know, and it starts with cutscenes with some characters you don't know. So something happens, and this starts to be very interesting at this point, because when you're watching cutscenes, you're like, what the hell is going on? And this moment, you start to think that you need to find out what is going on. You need to find out what happened. And this is what drags people into this game, I think, because it doesn't show the plot directly. It just shows you some places of the plot, some strange enemies, some random creatures, some like screaming like unknown creature with like yellow orangey eyes and stuff. So it's creepy and it's interesting, and you don't know what happens, you don't know what is going on, you really want to find it out. And then you start the game in King's Pass. This is the first sort of tutorial location where you find out about different things you can do in the game. First off, you can find your first secret, sorta, on the left side of the King's Pass. And if you just go left from the point where you started, you can find a place where you can get geo out of. And this is very cute, I think. Like, there are secrets in King's Pass that you can get when you're just starting the game, and not like without any abilities and stuff. But it's interesting that one of the secrets is just for people who already kind of like know what they're dealing with. Although I didn't know at the moment, I was just starting to get known with the game, and after a while I started actually looking around. I started looking for like floors that could be broken, for different places where I can go to, some secret areas. I started to check everything because I started to understand that Hollow Knight is always behind the walls and stuff, and there are many secrets that you need to look at, look after, sorta. Like, you should look around to find some spots where you can find like different collectibles and different things that can help you in your adventure and stuff. So King's Pass is a pretty great location in terms of tutorial section, because they really explain you everything you can do. Like, they show you the soul vessel and stuff. They tell you that you can use it to heal up, and this is one of the gimmicks of the game, that you can heal up during any fight. Like, healing up is totally on you. You should just start to heal up every time you can, and this is going to be really important when you're going to fight bosses and stuff. But in King's Pass there are no bosses, so you stumble upon many things, and you start to see like different small enemies, small creatures like venge flies and other stuff. You start to understand how the game works, that there are like platforming sections, that there are some small enemies here and there, that you can kill them and all that stuff. And after a while you stumble upon that little section where you don't have to, but you can go there. Like that spiky section where you can parry the spikes and get through this section. The thing is that you can parry the spikes and get through this section without a fucking double jump or a dash. And that's the thing, because at one point you think that you cannot get there because like there are spikes and the gap is too wide, so you cannot just jump over it. There will be not enough one jump, so you have to either get a dash or a double jump to get through this section. But you can, there is a gimmick in the game. You can parry the spikes, you can parry the enemies, anything. You can just hold down and click attack, and the character will parry anything which he can hit, and you will just jump a little up, sorta. And this is a great thing, I think, but you need to master this. Like, you need to learn how to do this in case you really want to not just run into spikes all the time. But I think that this should be an ability that everybody learns in the beginning. I mean, like, of course you can ignore this part. You can just forget about it and just go away, not care about what this place hides, because there is a small secret out there. But you can just try to get through this area. You can try over and over again until you start to understand how this gimmick with parrying downwards works. And after you understand it, it's better to like go to that secret area, because you will get your first charm. Charms in the game are amazing. There are many different charms which can be used for different occasions. I can understand that there are many different things to fight with. Like, for example, you can summon small creatures with charms. You can rise up your ability, your strength of your nail and stuff, so your melee weapon. You can use charms to rise the strength of your spells and all that stuff. And people fight with different things, as far as I know. Like, I know people who fight only with spells. I am fighting only with nail, so melee weapon, hooray. I love melee weapons. it's easier for me to fight with a nail, to be honest. So I think that everybody has something like to fight with, something to change their tactic, to like use the thing that they themselves enjoy, the way they prefer to fight, and this is really interesting that they have such difference. I think that like you're hearing that I'm talking about fighting someone a lot, and this is a huge part of the game. So the whole game is basically about fighting enemies off. So it's less platforming, more fighting. In the game there are like, let me remember, 50 bosses? I don't remember actually. There are like about 50 bosses if I'm not mistaken, and it's like a lot. Every location has a lot of bosses. Some of them are even like hidden, and you just have to find a way to get to their location because they're locked behind some places and stuff. And I kind of enjoy that, actually. This is a pretty good gimmick. Trying to find every boss in the game and fight them is a very great thing when you're exploring and stuff. Anyways, back to King's Pass. So you will have the first charm in the King's Pass. It's Fury of the Fallen, which can help you in the first parts of the game. And I know why this charm is located there. I think that the developers of the game thought that you will actually get through this spiky place, that you will understand how to parry downwards, and you will get Fury of the Fallen. And on the first bench, you will actually equip Fury of the Fallen, because Fury of the Fallen works like when you have 1 HP left, your strength is gonna be more. So I think that this was made, and this charm is actually located there in the tutorial area, because the developers knew that when you're starting a game, you might get into a bit of a trouble fighting off different enemies. So you'll actually have some problems with fighting. You will actually be on 1 HP for a long time because you will forget to heal. You will forget to you will forget the patterns of the bosses. It will be completely normal that you're dying and dying all over again. It's fine. It's okay. And the developers probably understood that, and just to make it a little bit easier kind of for the player, they added the Fury of the Fallen in the tutorial section. At least that's what I think, because I think this is how the game works, at least. So after you get Fury of the Fallen, you should get back to the place upwards and get to the huge wall, which is actually destructible. But okay, like there is a huge destructible wall which leads to like out of the King's Pass. But the problem is, I had a huge problem with this part, because when you are getting out of King's Pass, you will be in the shadows, sorta. So you get out of King's Pass, and there is that dumb little thing that foreground is hiding your main character, so you cannot see yourself. And I was dumb enough to think that there should be a cutscene playing in the game at that moment. Like, I couldn't see myself, and I thought that my character would just go a little bit further so I would see my character. But no, you actually end up standing behind the foreground and you don't understand where you are. At that point, I waited for about 5 minutes until I understood that I should move forward. It was dumb. I think, yeah, of course, I am that guy who always forgets or doesn't understand simplest things, but it was just a little funny moment for me. After you get out of King's Pass, you will meet your first sort of a hub area where you will backtrack a lot. This is Dirtmouth. Very great little town, which was once with a lot of bugs and other creatures. Actually, all the characters in the game are bugs, and this is pretty interesting. Sometimes you wonder which bugs they actually are. So it appears that there is only one person now. It's the Elder Bug, who will tell you a little story about Dartmouth. He will tell you that this city once was very loud. Well, city, town, once was very loud. There were many people here, and now there are none. And many warriors like you, they come through here and just go down the well, and they just disappear in that well. Like, nobody's coming back, and this is very, like, sad story, because the Elder Bug is the only bug which is living in Dartmouth, and he has practically nobody to talk with. But after a while, you will actually get to know many other NPCs that are in the game. So, you talking with Elderbug, you will see your first bench, and benches here are the safe spots. So when you sit on the bench, the game is being saved, and of course you can, on the bench, you can check out your map, you can check your abilities and stuff, so you can just take a little like break and so on and so forth. They are safe spots. There are no enemies near benches, like there can be no enemies near benches. And of course you can change your charms. You can change charms only on benches. You can equip charms only on benches, and this is important. I think it's great, actually, because you have to understand which charms you're going to take for that specific boss that you're fighting, or for example, which charms should you equip to just walk around and stuff. Which charms do you prefer for this time? And you should know that there will be no benches in some time. When you know the whole map, you start to understand when you will be able to change your equipment, but in the beginning you just, especially when you start to have like a lot of different charms that you should use, or you can use, you start to click through them, like look at best combinations of charms. And the thing is that you cannot wear all the charms, of course, at the same time, because there are specific charm spots which you can use, and there are like, in the beginning of the game there are like 3, if I'm not mistaken, or something like 3 or 2, 3, I guess 3. So you can like put on Fury of the Fallen and one other charm, which is gonna take only one charm spot, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is kind of a thinking game, so you should understand, you should know like your next steps. You should understand what you're going to wear and equipped, which is really great, I think. Makes you think, which charms do you prefer, which style of fighting do you prefer, which charms do you need for that specific occasion and stuff. So next up, we're going to the well, that's like long tunnel where the Elder Bug says everybody disappears, and we get to the first full-on location, which is Forgotten Crossroads. Forgotten Crossroads, if I'm not mistaken, actually has 3 bosses, and one of them is sort of a plot boss, quote-unquote, and the other 2 are optional, but you will probably kill at least one of them, because yeah, why not? Of course, going through the whole game, I got practically everything. Like, I repeat, I was stuck on the 3rd Pantheon, and since I have 109% at that point. So you should understand that I am practically near the 100% the game. The game has not 100 but 112% when you finish it on the best possible ending and stuff. But I, of course, had only 109, and this is something you should know. I should have said it earlier, but I said it right now, so I hope you don't mind. Anyways, when I first got into Forgotten Crossroads, well, it's a pretty good starting location, I think. I really enjoy that you can like get to know some of the NPCs which are living not in the dirt mouth but near it, because if you go left and you go like to the furthest left side, you will find the Grub King, the guy who is the Grub Father. I forgot his name. Great. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm sorry. I saved all the grubs, but I haven't talked to him in a while, okay? This guy is a father of grubs, and little grubs are cute creatures that you will find in Hollow Nest here and there, and they're sort of a collectibles which you can collect, which you can bring back to their father. And of course, when you go back to their father, he will give you like specific things. Sometimes it's just Geo, sometimes it's... There are 2 charms that are grub related charms, and there are some soul shard masks, mask shards, and soul vessel shards, and so on and so forth. So like he gives some stuff which is great, so you probably should actually try to find all the grubs. And sometimes there are many spots where grubs are hidden pretty well, and there will be a very interesting place with a grub hidden in there. And I will tell about this a little later because I stumbled upon it and I understood how to fight those creatures, so it's a pretty interesting thing. Anyways, I know that every grub in Forgotten Crossroads can be saved without getting any abilities, but you will have to use that downward slash that you learned in the King's Pass, because if you haven't learned it, then you will have to get the dash ability, that's for sure. I think you can do it all with only dash, but I'm not sure. Anyways, all the grubs are located in different places. Some are behind breakable walls and some of the enemies. Some are like on top of some small cliffs and stuff, and so on and so forth. 2 of the grubs can be taken, sorta, after you do downward slash, one on the enemy and the other one has a whole on specific room with it, and you should do some downward slashes to get to it through the spikes and stuff. So this is like interesting platforming sections, sorta. Going through, I started with the left side, although you can go to the right side and you can check the right side out. There are many different places where you can go. The game doesn't try to stop you. You can go anywhere you'd like. I started with the left side, and on the left side, if you go down that long room with groslings, you will stumble upon another NPC, which you will see a lot in the game. Cornifer. Cornifer is a very great NPC. He is a mosquito, actually, and he is a traveler. He makes maps of every location he travels to, and of course you will be able to buy maps from him. If you stumble upon Cornifer, you can talk to him, and he will sell you the first map of this location, but the map will be pretty bad drawn and stuff, and he will tell you like you can go to my shop in Dirtmouth. There is my wife Zelda who's selling stuff for the maps, so you can find something for your liking, and you can get a quill and a paper. Well, a quill. You can get a quill. I don't know, like, the quill always associates with a paper, and that's why I said quill and a paper, I don't know why. But you can get a quill, which you can use to make your own map, sort of. So you will, like, draw the parts and the areas that you have seen, but you still would not be able to draw the map if you don't have the location map bought. So, for example, if you if you got the Forgotten Crossroads map and you have a quill, little ghost is going to only like draw different places where he didn't go in Forgotten Crossroads. But if you get into another area, for example into Green Path, you will not be able to draw a map of Green Path right away. It will just tell you that you don't have the map of that area, so you will have to find Cornifer again to buy a map from him. In it, like, actually you don't have to find Cornifer. If you don't find Cornifer, you can just go to his shop, quote-unquote, in Dirtmouth, and ask Zelda. She will sell you the map of the location where you have missed Cornifer, or you haven't found him, or anything like that. But Cornifer is practically always the first NPC you're trying to find, because he's practically the only NPC who's walking around all the time, who can see in practically every location except for some small exceptions. So in their shop you can actually buy some different good things, like for example some marks and pins which you can use. There are bench pins, stack station pins, merchant pins, and so on and so forth. So you can make your map for your liking, like the best map of Hollowness for you. So, and of course they sell a Wayward Compass, which is a very, very great thing. It doesn't do anything, it's just a charm which shows you on the map, that's all. And I'm not even joking, that's the only thing that this charm does. And this is kind of funny because it takes one charm spot, and when you're moving around, when you're exploring, this is one of the charms you would need, like air, because it's really hard to understand where you are when you're just looking at the map and you don't have that small face of yourself on it. So you're probably going to use Wayward Compass a lot, at least at first when you're first time playing the game, because the map is huge. It's like the biggest map I have ever seen, oh my god. So when you're moving a little to the right, you're going to either stumble upon Gruzmother, or you're going to go a little up and you're going to stumble upon a stag station. Of course, you will have some small fights here and there. There will be a fight which is near the hot springs, for example, like that room where you get to fight some waves of enemies. Like there will be, if I'm not mistaken, there will be either 2 or 3 waves of enemies of practically one type, and this will be a closed arena. There are not many closed arenas in the game, but this is one of them. And you get to fight some of the enemies, you get to learn how to fight against them. After that, you will be able to get, you will be able to go to hot springs. Hot springs are some safe spots where you can not just sit on the bench and save your game and just relax for a while. You can stay in hot springs, inside the water, meaning, and regain your soul, which is really great before big fights and before some like places where you need to use a lot of spells or heal a lot. Mostly heal, because you mostly use, like I mostly used soul from soul vessels to heal up. If you, actually I didn't say that you gain soul when you hit an enemy, so it gives you a little bit of their soul when you're fighting someone off, and it doesn't mean if that's a boss or just a regular enemy, it's always giving you soul. So after hot springs, if you move further to the right side, you will stumble upon Gruzmother. It's the first boss, and you're probably going to see her as the first boss of the location. Like, if you're exploring like me, if you're making that huge circle or stuff, you'll probably see Gruzmother first. And funnily enough, I died. I managed to die on Grandmother because it was really unexpected, because I saw a huge enemy which was sleeping and I was like, okay, fine, I can just go by. No, you cannot. Because the game closes you on this small arena, and although Grandmother, I would say that Grandmother is more of a mini boss than a boss. And when you actually start to fight with this boss, you have no other choice than to fight her, because the door that she's guarding is closed and you cannot go through there, and when you get past a specific spot, the door behind you closes, so you just have to fight in that small area. And although she doesn't have that hard attacks, this can take you off guard if you're like me and you're used to specific things in different games. Like if you are thinking that it's nothing, like I can just not wake her up and get past her. It doesn't work like that. Sadly, you will have to fight this freaking boss. And in the end, you just fight off the Grandmother, and I managed to die at that point. It was the first boss I stumbled upon and the first enemy I actually died from. This was my first death in the game, actually, if I remember correctly. So I was upset. I thought that it's very sad that I died because of a freaking Grandmother, and if I'm not mistaken, I died not because of her, but I died because of Groslings, and this was the saddest thing ever. Though I don't remember correctly, I just know that I had to fight the boss all over again. And when you actually are fighting someone and you're dying, there will be another creature appearing after your death. After your death, you're losing all your geo and you're losing 1/3 of your soul vessel, which is really important because 1/3 is one soul mask, and which is that is really a lot. So you have to go back to that place where you died and take out your shadow. The thing is that Shadow can fight back, and Shadow fights like you do. Every ability you gain, your Shadow will gain the same ability, and it will try to fight you with this ability. So it can do Desolate Dive, it can do Vengeful Spirit, it can just try to hit you with its nail, and it will actually like hit you. It will like bring you damage and stuff. And this is, oh my god. Sometimes these shadows actually managed to kill me, and this was really, really sad. But it was further in the game where I was not really careful. So yeah, this time I was able to fight my shadow and kill it. When you kill your shadow, you get back all your geo you had, and of course you get that third of the vessel back. The thing is that if you die from your shadow, the game doesn't care, and you will have another shadow spawning, and there will be not two shadows, there will be only one shadow, which will have progress from your last death. So if you haven't collected any geo when you were walking to get to your shadow, you will have no geo like at all. You will get no geo back. Congrats, you just fucking lost everything. And this is really sad. It is one of the saddest things sometimes, because there are some places where you wouldn't enjoy to fight your shadow, that's for sure. So I had a little bit of struggle with Grandmother, and I was like, it was really unexpected when Grandmother was defeated and suddenly she bursts with like 10 or something, like it's less than 10, I think it's less than 10, but there are a lot of Groslings and you don't expect that at all. So after she bursts with Groslings, you have to kill them because the arena doesn't open until you kill everyone on that arena, and when you do it, you are like, congrats, you opened a new small area. In that area, there are some small things, like some small houses, and there is an interesting place where you can go to, but not at this point. I'm not sure if you can get to Salubra without any abilities. I think it's possible, but I don't know a way. I think you just have to call some of the enemies and try to like parry them, like do a downward slash and just try to get on that cliff. But it's really hard, and I didn't do that, so I opened Salubra a lot of like long time after. If you go into some of the houses, well, you can go into one house specifically. You will meet Sly, a new merchant, which was here because he got under the like sort of infection and stuff. His eyes will be like blurry, yellowish, orangey color, and if you talk to him, he's gonna say like some random shit about people you don't know. Like he will say something like Oro, something about Oro, something about some different characters who you don't know and you don't understand who they actually are. And then after a while, you just after a while talking to him, he will say that, oh hello, how long have I been here? Oh my god, like what the hell did I forget here? I walked here because of some occasion, and right now I'm like need to get back to Dirtmouth and so forth. Like go on into my shop if you want to. So Sly has a lot of stuff which you can buy, and it's mostly the best stuff in the game, I'd say. He's one of the best merchants, and he is a very, very important character. You should remember him till the end of the story. It's a very great character, actually. He is very sweet, although he can be very cocky from time to time, and very aggressive, I guess. He lives with that stupid thing in his mind, like life is money, time is money, everything is money, and this is really funny. Unexpected rhyme. So when you find Sly, it's a very great thing, and you'll probably try to get back to Dirtmouth just to see everybody there, and at that point you will have a very convenient thing nearby. If you go a little up, you will probably stumble upon the Stag Station. Stag Station is a subway of this world, and you can use Stag Stations to get to specific areas. In City of Tears, if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 Stag Stations, and in the Kingdom's Edge, there are no Stag Stations at all. Though there is 1 Stag Stations in City of Tears, which is nearby the King's Edge, so there are Stag Stations in practically every location. And if you open them all, you will open a little area that will open you a little bit of story and give you a little bit of hope. The game is really sad, so getting hope is really important sometimes. So it's gonna be like a little bit of the story of stags and so on and so forth. When you open your first Stag Station, you will be able to backtrack to Dirtmouth faster. So you will be able to call the stag. First of all, you need to pay a little bit of money, so it will give you a little bell, and you will be able to hit this bell, and there will be a stag appearing. It will tell you that for a long time nobody actually called the stags, and he already forgot how it is to like go through all these tunnels and stuff, and he will offer you a ride. You can use Stag to get to Dirtmouth, because there is 1 Stag Station in Dirtmouth, of course, and you should open this Stag Station, I think, like right away, because when you are in Dirtmouth for the first time, you cannot open this Stag Station at all, because the door is closed from the other side, so you just probably it would be best if you open that Stag Station, and at the same time you could go to Dirtmouth and check out the merchants you already opened. So like go to Sly's shop, maybe buy something from him if you have enough geo, or just go to Zelda and buy something from her, or just rest. That works too. then you can go back to Forgotten Crossroads, and there will be another boss. But before, no, you know what? I'm gonna talk about this NPC later when we're gonna get to that place, like in terms of plot and stuff, in terms of the main plot, that the main locations you should visit, one after another. So, like, I hope I would not forget about that. Anyways, you can go a little bit up from the stag station and you will be able to get to the plot boss, sorta. It's the False Knight. False Knight is a very easy boss, and I defeated him from the first time, although I made a very stupid mistake because I started to... I didn't know that you have to hit him a certain amount of times, and when you break off his armor, you will be able to hit the enemy inside the armor. And I didn't think about that, so I thought that this is just a little moment for you to take a break, so when you hit off his armor, you can just heal up and stuff, and then he will start to fight you all over again. And I was waiting until he will stand up, and my friend was like, hey, you have to hit him, like, look, he's vulnerable, go on. So I started to fight the enemy, and I defeated him pretty easily, although I was on one mask for a very long time. And mind you that, I say that I didn't have Fury of the Fallen at the time because my friend told me that it's gonna be too hard for me to learn do downward slash at the time, so he just didn't make me to do it, and I had to go on without Fury of the Fallen, so I practically didn't have any abilities to make my strength go up and stuff. When you defeat the False Knight, you will gain access to a very interesting place where you first time will gain your special sort of soul ability. Well, how you should call it? Spell. It's called a spell. You will get your first spell, but most importantly, you get a city crest, which you will need a long time after you defeated the False Knight. You will meet False Knight again sometime after if you would want to, but it's not like the most important thing at this point. So after you defeat the False Knight, you go to that shaman's place, the name of which I forgot, I'm sorry. And you gain the Vengeful Spirit, your first spell, which you should use against a certain type of enemy to open the next location. So everybody, I think there are many people who start to use spells and start to play with spells a lot. I think that there are many people who enjoy spells much more than like regular attacks or melee weapon and stuff, or some people who combine spells with melee weapons, but I don't really enjoy combining them, I guess. I'm okay with melee weapons, so I used spells mostly to just distract some, well, not distract, break. I forgot the word, I'm sorry. To break some specific places, to go into specific places. Like, for example, you will gain an ability called Desolate Dive to break some floors in some spaces, and this is important. I think this is great. This ability is not just for fighting, but also to, like, get into other areas where you haven't been to or where you will need to go. Anyways, when you get the Vengeful Spirit, you will be able to defeat those boulder-like creatures, those like blue guys with a shield, and they're gonna shield themselves if you're gonna go closer to them, so you have to use Vengeful Spirit, which is the ability which allows you to hit from afar. It's a spell which is really great against those enemies because actually, as far as I know, you can hit them with a nail if you like make it time, like frame perfect hit and so on and so forth. But eh. I ended up just fighting them off with Vengeful Spirit. So after you get the Vengeful Spirit, you can go further into Green Path, your next location, where you will find some new bosses, new abilities, and so on and so forth. I said that there are 3 bosses in the Forgotten Crossroads, but I talked about only 2 of them. That's why I think that... You know, I will tell you about this last boss, mostly because I think that, well, I don't think I know that it is possible to get to this boss without any abilities, although the game thinks that you will have abilities at that point. The game thinks that you will have at least Mantis Claw, which allows you to climb walls. But you can get to this boss without Mantis Claw, and to get to this boss without Mantis Claw, you will have to be really frame perfect when you're parrying the spikes, because there are spikes not just on the floor, they are practically like they're on walls, and you will have to be able to parry spikes to get up on the column, quote unquote, and after that you will be able to get to the area where the third boss is located. The third boss of this place is Brooding Moloch, and it's not a necessary boss. You don't have to kill them. If you really want to, you can go to them and kill them, because they're hiding either a mask shard or a soul vessel shard. I don't remember really, actually. I think it was a mask shard. Well, you can defeat this boss if you want to. This boss is actually pretty hard when you don't have your nail strength at specific point. When you're just playing through the game for the first time, so like when you just got the Vengeful Spirit and that's all you have, like you have your melee weapon, you have the Vengeful Spirit, and you just began to play the game sorta. You don't have many abilities, you don't have like charms to rise your strength and so on and so forth. You will have a lot of problems with fighting Brooding Moloch, but if you really want to, you can kill this boss right away. But it is gonna be really hard to get to this boss at first, so it's not necessary. The game thinks that you will like explore at least 2 more locations before fighting Brooding Moloch, but you can fight the Brooding Moloch and kill this boss, like if you really want to, and this will just give you an extra mask shard, if I'm not mistaken, and then you just can go further into Green Path. So let's get on to the Green Path. If you want to support me with more than just liking and subscribing, consider checking out the link in the description. There you can donate any sum of money starting from $1. Any donation is appreciated. Thank you in advance. Oh, sorry, I had to take a little break because it's really hard to talk for a long time without any pauses and without any breaks. And when you're talking alone, it's a very, very hard thing. So, anyways, moving on. I see we're on 50-minute mark already, and I just told you about the beginning of the game, which is not really great, because if we're gonna continue in this pace, we're gonna just sit here for another 4 hours. So I'm gonna start talking about mostly things that were like highlighted moments sort of stuff, because you probably already know a lot about the game, and my explaining of every single location is not the best thing, although I'm used to doing stuff like that. I'm sorry. Anyways, Green Path. Green Path is my favorite location, I think. I really love Green Path. I love music in Green Path. The second favorite location of mine is Queen's Gardens, because it is also a green location. I love green locations. I love flowers, I love plants, I love everything nature related. So of course I enjoy Green Path, of course I enjoy Queen's Gardens. And in Green Path you will get Dash and you will meet Hornet. I really want to tell you about the Hornet boss fight, mostly because it was a very bad boss fight. Hornet was the first boss which gave me a lot of trouble, and I died on her for about like... Well, I died on her about 5 times, if I'm not mistaken, and I had a lot of trouble with her. And at the time, I was still playing with my friend, and he was still giving me advices and stuff. And at one point, he just started to joke around that he got through Hornet on his first try and that he's like much better than I am. And at that point, being a very, like, I was 13 years old, so I was really sensitive. I'm still sensitive, and at that time that was like so bad when you're like basically laughing at the person who just doesn't know anything about the game, who started to play just now and who doesn't have enough experience to get through bosses, and you start to laugh about this person lying that you completed the boss from your first try when you actually didn't. Like, what the hell? I felt so bad. I wanted to quit the game at that point. I didn't want to play it any further. And I completed Hornet with that guy. Like, at one point, I actually got through Hornet, although it was hard. It was very exhausting. I was having a lot of trouble with this boss. But when I got through, I actually was pretty happy. And at that point, my friend actually, we couldn't play anymore together. Well, I mean, he just had to go home. It was like, we called it a day, and we were not smart enough to call through Discord and play like that, so I promised him that I'm not gonna play the game until he will come back to me and we will sit and play the game together. Like, I said that we will only get through the game together, but that was a lie. Because after some time I thought that I really want to play Hollow Knight again and again, and that's how my own adventure started. At first I didn't tell him anything that I was actually playing the game, and well, I was just getting through the game. First off, I explored as much as of Green Path as I could. I fought some other bosses. I fought the Vengefly King and met my favorite NPC, Zote, because he's a great NPC. I love Zote a lot. It's the greatest character ever. And of course, I thought I forgot that like sort of, I don't know, like this green planty creature, big guy. So I defeated some bosses and I was moving forward. To be honest, I don't really remember from which side I entered Fungal Wastes, but I guess it was from the Queen's Station side. Like, probably if you were playing Hollow Knight, you know that every location has different sides you can enter it from. So every location connects to other locations. For example, if you have been through Green Path and you're going to backtrack to Forgotten Crossroads, you can get through Forgotten Crossroads. Like, you can jump there and dash to one of the cliffs, and that's how you can get into Fungal Wastes from the upper side. And I think the game thinks that you're gonna get to Fungal Wastes from the upper side, but as far as I know, I got to Fungal Wastes through first Fog Canyon, and then through the Queen's Station. It's another stack station, by the way, another safe zone. There you can meet another NPC which you will not really need because she doesn't move anywhere, and you might get well, Mask Shard, so if you really want to, actually. Also, I didn't tell you about Quirrell. Quirrell is a great character, explorer too. You will find a lot of stuff about him, and he is, well, the guy who's gonna help you fight at one point. Fight against one of the main bosses, quote-unquote, of the game. They're called Dreamer, and we're gonna talk about them a little later. So Quirrell is hanging out in different historical places, and he's more of a plot-wise important character. So you will see him here and there appearing. You can talk to him, and he will explain you some stuff. He will talk about some stuff. He will tell that he's a pretty old guy, and he knows a lot of different things. So you will just, from time to time, meet him and talk to him if you really want to. So after I got into Fungal Wastes is one of my favorite locations too, mostly because of the music. I really love the music from Fungal Wastes. It's one of the best soundtracks in the whole game, in my opinion, and I don't think that City of Tears has a better soundtrack, although many people might argue with me. And in Fungal Wastes, you will need to go deeper into Fungal Wastes and find the Mantis Village. So first off, I really want to say that there are mushrooms in Fungal Wastes which you can parry. And nobody tells you about that. So it's a huge deal because you don't understand how to jump from these mushrooms, because you will try to, like, when you get on this like pinkish, like sort of like that mushrooms, when you jump on them, the ghost is gonna just make a little small jump, and you will wonder like what you should do, and the thing that is that you should parry them downwards, like you should do a downward slash, and they will make you jump higher up, and you can get to different places with that. So after you get into the Mantis Village, you can get the Mantis Claw and just run away. You don't have to fight the boss of this place. But if you want, you can do that, and they will not just open you, they will open you a treasure room, first of all. They will open you a path to Deep Nest, and they will give you a very, very great thing. Mantis will not attack you anymore. Well, at least the normal Mantis, like infected Mantis. So after that, you will be able to go to City of Tears, finally. City of Tears is the biggest, I think it's the biggest location in the whole game, but it's one of the most interesting locations, I think. So you will have to get to City of Tears first. And before you can get there, you will have a little platforming section where you will have sort of quote-unquote checkpoints. When you can go down and hit the switch to open to start the to create what's called bridge. I'm always forgetting words today, oh my god. The bridge. You will be able to make a bridge through the whole area to the City of Tears, so you will not have to get through the platforming section all over again when you get out of City of Tears, and you will want to go to City of Tears through the Fungal Wastes part. So when you get to the City of Tears, you should insert the city crest which you got from the Falls Knight, and you will be able to get into the City of Tears. In the City of Tears, there is a very bad thing where you have to go at this point, like it's a historical place, you have to go there in terms of plot. Historical, I don't know why I called it historical. It's important plot wise. That's what I want. That's what I meant. That's what I wanted to say. So you go there to get Desolate Dive, and this place is called Soul Sanctum, and I hate this place a lot. I can understand everything, but you have no idea how hard this freaking location was for me. I struggled so much. I wanted to fucking quit the game. I wanted to stop. I was like, maybe I don't have to go there. Maybe there's nothing important. Maybe this is just a sub-location that I don't have to visit, that I don't have to necessarily go through. No, you fucking have to, because it will allow you to open some places, and it will allow you to open some new areas. So you will have to go there to get some new abilities and stuff. It's important. And it's fine with fighting like like different small creatures. It's fine with fighting the Soul Master or whatever like his name is. It's okay. It's fine. Fucking Soul Warriors. What the fuck is this? What's fucking wrong with this? But I don't know. This is sort of a mini boss. They should be easy. They should be no problem. This is just a simple challenge that you have to get through. But I struggled so fucking much with them. I can't even explain how hard it was. I defeated the fucking Soul Master faster than these dudes. I don't know, I don't know why. It was just so hard. I had much more problems with them than with the main boss of the Sanctum. I don't know. I still remember how I struggled. I still remember how I hated it. I wanted to fucking cheat. I wanted to find a way to get through this boss, not fighting it, but there was no way. You will have to find a fucking Soul Warrior, and you will have to find another one if you want to get an upgrade for your Desolate Dive. This is so fucking, oh my Lord, I hate this place. So after you get Desolate Dive, you will have to backtrack to Forgotten Crossroads and get to Crystal Peak, a new location, and I am going to tell you a little funny story about Crystal Peak. By the way, I forgot to tell that I didn't fight Mantis Lords at the time because I thought they're gonna be really hard because my friend told me so. At that point, when I was in the middle of Fungal Wastes, I told him that I was playing already, like, sorry dude, I didn't wait for you, I started to play by myself. And he said, like, don't go to Mantis Lords are too fast, they're gonna be too hard for you. In the end, I found out that they're not hard. But anyways, I defeated them much later, and I didn't get into Deepness through the Mantis Lords parts, so if you really were wondering, now you know. I will tell you how I got to Deepness. It was a really funny story. So you go, like, when you get the Desolate Dive, you will have to go back to Forgotten Crossroads to get to Crystal Peak. And the thing is that Crystal Peak, as any other location, has different places where you can get into Crystal Peak from. Here, it is important to understand that the developers think that at this point you have Desolate Dive, at this point you have Mantis Claw, at this point you have a dash, so you have some of the abilities. And I'm a dumbass, and I got into Crystal Peak at first through the area in Forgotten Crossroads near the False Knight. And you know how I got through there? I bought a lantern from Sly, and when you buy a lantern, you will be able to see a little bit more in that area, and you can pay a little bit of geo, so it will open a gate for you, and you can get into the Crystal Peaks. And I got there, but I fucking struggled because I didn't have any abilities. I was really weak, and it was a huge problem to get through Crystal Peak. So I just tried to backtrack, and it was even more of a problem because I don't know by what miracle I got so far into Crystal Peak, but I couldn't get back, and I couldn't go further because I didn't have enough abilities to do so. And it was such a disaster. To be honest, Crystal Peak is the hardest location in the whole game, as I think, because first off, it's big. Second, it has a lot of enemies, which I hate a lot, and I think that many of you hate them too. The bosses of the location, well, the boss, I don't think there are, well, there are two bosses, like one of them is a normal, regular, and the other one is just an enhanced version or something. So, like, there is not much of a deal. Like, anyways, it's more of a platforming section, as I would call it. So, after you get into Crystal Peak, you have to have a lot of different abilities, and you have to be mentally ready for a very, very hard place, because Crystal Peak is fucking shit. There are some charms, if I remember correctly, and of course, which is more important, I think there is Yeah, there is a key from Sly's shop where you have, like, you will find a shopkeeper's key, and when you get back to Sly, he will use it to give you more the stuff that he had, so you can like buy a little more from him. So you will have to find shopkeeper's key somewhere in the like Crystal Peak. In the Crystal Peak, you get Super Dash, sort of. I forgot how it's called in the game. Crystal Heart or whatever. So you'll be able to get through a little platforming sections with moving platforms and with moving conveyors as a platform, and with some laser beams from crystals and so on and so forth. And then you will get a Super Dash, the ability to dash for a very, very long distance until you just stop. And this helps you to open some new areas. For example, in you have to you have to use it there. For example, in Green Path, you can get to one of the three brothers, three nail masters. You can get to what's his name? Shio. You can get to Shio, who's a painter, who's not a nail master anymore, but he still remembers some nail arts, but he decided that art is very important to him. He's one of my favorite brother, so I really love him. He's the best ever. This guy just lives in an area where you can get to only using the Super Dash, and there's a long platforming section where you have to be really precise with your movement. It's a pretty hard thing, but you can get through this, I think, and you will learn nail art. First nail art I got was from Matto. I think that everybody got their first nail art from Matto. Since we're talking about this, by the way, since we're talking about Green Path and backtracking to Green Path, let's backtrack there and let me explain how to get at Matto, because I don't remember when I actually got to this character, but he was the first nail master who I got to, of course, and I got to him through Halloween Cliffs, of course, like he lives in Halloween Cliffs, but Halloween Cliffs has the entrance from King's Pass where you can go when you have Mantis Claw, and there is also another entrance from Green Path. And I got through the Green Path entrance. I just climbed up and I got into Halloween Cliffs, and there I found Matto, and he just explained me the nail arts and so on and so forth, and that's how I got my first nail art. There's nothing that important, actually. I didn't like Halloween Cliffs as a location. It is one of the most lame locations in the whole game. I think that other lame locations for me are the like abyss sort of thing, and some like not really colorful locations. I know that there is a lot of dread in the game, that the whole game is a very sad thing. So yeah, but still, I like locations, for example, like Green Path, as I said, like Fungal Wastes. They're interesting. And City of Tears is actually pretty interesting. I love the gimmick of City of Tears, that it is always raining out there. By the way, in the City of Tears, it is always raining because there is a huge water pool up above the City of Tears. Like, you'll find this water pool later, and this is pretty funny. I promised you to talk about one specific character when I'm gonna talk about the Crystal Peak, but I forgot, and now I remember. That's why we're gonna talk about that. Because I didn't tell you what you need the Desolate Dive for, actually. There is a character who works in the mines, and her name is Mila. She's a small, little, sort of a miner. She is just doing her thing. She's singing songs. She's really happy in the beginning of the game. You meet her, you can talk to her, she will sing a song, she will tell you to sing along, she will tell you like you can like do stuff with me, you can mine crystals with me if you want to, there is enough for everybody. And from her side there is a lift you can go to, and there is a floor that you can break, so that's what you need the Desolate Dive for. And this is the place where you have to go when you are willing going to attend the Crystal Peak. The sad thing is that at this point, if I'm not mistaken, when you return to Mila, when you will have Desolate Dive, you will see Mila already starting to get infected, and this is the saddest part of the whole story, because when you progress through the game, you will see Mila slowly getting infected until she will become an enemy and try to kill you as any other minor husk in the game. It is really sad because you meet her as a very cheerful and very cute bug. She's singing, she's always happy, she's doing her thing. After a while you come back and she's just standing there, and her mind is getting blurry. She talks about something that you cannot fully understand. She's trying to I guess she's trying to fight back the infection, but she slowly just goes into that infection state. And after a while, you come to her for the third time and she's already fully infected. And if you come close, she will try to kill you. She will try to kill you as any other husk. And you can kill her, and this is gonna be the death of her. It's one of the saddest things ever. If I'm not mistaken, she does or does not. I don't remember, but I think if you kill her, she will respawn, but I'm not sure about that. But this is very sad. This is sad to see how a cheerful character is being destroyed by the infection, which is slowly killing everybody. This is so painful, to be honest, because you actually meet this character, you know her character, you know, like you can talk to her, you can just like chat around and stuff, and suddenly she just dies basically, and you cannot do anything. Like, you can just run away, you cannot kill her, but you can forget about her, but it's still sad that she will not be able to get back. She will not be able to regain. She's infected, and like she's basically nothing more of a creature than just a husk, and this is so sad. Oh my god. Like, the whole game is that sad, to be honest. Everything in the game is pretty much sad stories of the infected kingdom and creatures that cannot fight the infection off because they don't know what the hell is this. Like, it doesn't have a form and stuff, and this is really sad and creepy. Getting back to Crystal Peaks, you can actually get to a new location, and you will probably get to this location through Crystal Peaks. And resting grounds. This is the location where you will get to, and you will find your main goal of the game. When you get through resting grounds, you will see some many graves, and there will be like a whole-on graveyard. But at one point you will stop in front of 3 dreamers, and dreamers are the main sort of creatures that you should defeat to break the how are they called? The seals on the egg temple, which you can see in Forgotten Crossroads. This is the first place where you meet Quirrell, by the way. If you will go to the right side from the entrance of Forgotten Crossroads, when you first time enter Forgotten Crossroads, you will see the egg temple. It's gonna be a huge temple, and Quirrell is going to talk about it. Anyways, this is considered the end part of the game where you will have to go back to, but we're gonna talk about this a little later. You have 3 dreamers, and I forgot their names, so I'm gonna call them differently, considering knowing their locations. And I only remember Hera, her name was, probably a spider dreamer from the Deep Nest. There is, I don't remember Monomon. I don't remember her name. Shit. The dreamer from the Fog Canyon, and another dreamer from City of Tears. So when you get to know the dreamers, your main character is he just snaps out of reality. And then we wake up in another place. It is resting grounds too, but we meet our new NPC, which gives us a new ability. This is a very interesting moth NPC, and she gives us a dream nail. A dream nail is a thing that will help us to find dreamers. It is a thing that will give us access to new dreamer bosses, well, dream bosses, sorta. And the dream nail gives us the ability to read the minds of every creature in the game, and it doesn't mean that if it's like, it doesn't matter if it's an NPC, if it's already dead creature, well, a body that you find somewhere on the map, or is it an enemy, you can read any mind with the dream nail. And she gives you some small quests, for example, like go to the dream trees, I don't know, like those little things that you need to hit with the dream nail and then collect like a couple of sort of like seals, whatever this is, and then you will be able to upgrade your dream nail, and when you upgrade your dream nail you will get some perks and stuff, and she will give you perks for upgrading the nail. So yeah, it's worth to like explore, it's worth to take these quests, to actually stop here and there to try to get everything what she asks for. I think it's pretty interesting, but sometimes these small sort of saplings can grow in places where you don't really want to go. Like in Crystal Peak there is one, if I'm not mistaken. There may maybe even two in Crystal Peak, but I don't remember. Actually, I remember that there is one for sure, like it's 1,000,000%. So after you get the dream nail, you get a goal, so you know where you have to go to complete the game. And this is when you can either explore further, you can explore every location, look here and there, just check out everything, or you can forget about it and just go kill the dreamers, go to the egg temple, kill the final boss, and that's all, just end the game. Before we get to the dreamers and stuff, I forgot to tell you about one little thing from Halloween Cliffs that I actually explored and that I kinda enjoyed. At one point, the game got a lot of DLCs. That's what I want to say. And one of these DLCs was a sort of a Halloween DLC, which added the Grim Troop. And to activate the Grim Troop, you will need this dream nail, and you will get to Halloween Cliffs, and there is a place where there is a dead body of a huge creature, and when you dream nail it, you will be able to light up the fire, and the Dream Troop will... the Dream Troop... yeah, of course! The Grim Troop will appear in the dirt map. And this is one of the best things you can actually get, because let me explain you. The Dream Troop. Why do I keep calling them the Dream Troop? Why? What the hell? The Grim Troop is the sort of a circus which comes to the dirt map, and you can do some quests, and you can go one of two ways. First off, when you get there, Grim, the main sort of master of the troop, will give you his son. He will give you a charm which will spawn a creature which is a sort of a son of this guy. I would say it's a son, I would call him like that. And you will have to go to different places, different locations, and fight some small guys to give this little guy energy. And when you kill these guys, you will have to return to Grim, and he will upgrade your charm. And the thing is that at one point you'll have to fight Grim, and this is one of the best fights in the whole game. I love it so much. I can't even explain how much I love it. It's one of the best fights. It has an amazing soundtrack. I love the soundtrack a lot, much more than Nightmare King Grim. I dislike Nightmare King Grim. I hate this stupid shit. But you fight this character, you defeat him, and this is a very tough fight, by the way, because you have to fight it, of course, without the help of that little Grim creature that Grim gave you, because he uses that creature, like, he takes the charm away from you, so you'll have to fight Grim, one alone. And when you fight Grim, he will give you the charm back, and he will give you the ability to continue the quest. And here you can go one of two ways. You can get to Brum, one of the characters from the Grim troop, and you can stop the the circus. You can just go and do stuff with Brum, and the circus will just be cut off. But to fight Brum, you will have to go to Deep Nest, and this is a very hard and creepy location. I will talk about it in a minute. Or you can fight Nightmare King Grim, which is the dream part of Grim. You will have to dream nail him while he's sleeping and fight Nightmare King Grim, and after that the whole circus will disappear. And you will not have Brum as an NPC, as far as I know. The only creature that will not disappear when even when the circus is defeated is that what's her name? Oh my god. She's a very funny, sort of crazy girl. She doesn't look like any bug I know, but well, she is a very important character, and she is being left there even after the Grim troop will disappear, because she is really important. Because when you get to Fungal Wastes, you will find a leg eater, a guy who will sell you fragile charms, and they are the best charms in the whole game, actually. There is Fragile Strength, and this is the most important charm in the whole game. When you get a Fragile charm, you can go to that girl from the Grim troop and give her the Fragile charm. And when you pay her a certain amount of money, which is a pretty big amount, actually, you will be able to get unbreakable charm. So fragile charms are gonna break after you die, or after you die. After you die, the fragile charm will break, and you will have to go to Leg Eater, so it will repair you the charm. So doing all that backtracking all the time is really exhausting and stuff. So it's easier when you go to that girl and she is giving you the unbreakable charm, because unbreakable charm will not break even if you die. So I had a lot of fun with Grim Troop. I think it was a very hard boss. Grim was a very hard boss. Nightmare King Grim was hard, but if you try to understand this boss, you will get through him like pretty easily. You just have to take your time to understand the patterns of his attacks, because he's basically Grim but harder. So he uses practically the same attacks but with some perks. For example, like he will use the dash attack, quote unquote, and there will be fire behind him, and most of his attacks are much faster than the attacks from the regular Grim. So, oh my god, we stopped on Dreamers, right? Yeah. So let's get to Dreamers then. You know that there is a Dreamer in City of Tears. And funnily enough, it was the last Dreamer I defeated. It was funny because not like I didn't want to defeat this enemy. Let's start with that. It was just too hard. First of all, to get to this Dreamer, you will have to get the double jump. And to get the double jump, you have to get down to another location. And to get to that location, you're probably gonna need a tram pass. And a tram pass you can find only in Deep Nest. So, like, it's very hard. I guess first Dreamer that I actually defeated was the Dreamer from Fog Canyon. I guess I don't remember. I think yeah, it's the easiest dreamer to fight off, especially because the boss fight you will fight with Quirrell, because he will go there and he will like help you fight the boss fight of that area. It is a huge what's it called? Oh my god, I forgot all my words. Underwater creature. Shit. Give me a second. Jellyfish. It is a huge jellyfish, and actually the whole location is full of jellyfish, and some of them are really not good. If you are a very smart person, please don't take the Grimchild there. Don't freaking no, just don't do that. Don't do it, you will regret it, because Grimchild attacks everything which is hostile and is trying to defend you, but when you attack certain jellyfish, they're gonna spawn a bomb which is gonna try to kill you, so don't freaking attack them at all. Just don't do that, it's gonna be a big problem. And if you are a smart person, yeah, just no, no. Don't take Grimchild with you, it's gonna be a huge deal. So I got to Monomon, and I think her name is Monomon. I'm gonna call her that because I don't really remember. I got to her and I fought the boss. I got to her, I defeated the Dreamer, and Quirrell there tells that he was her friend, he was her right hand, and she was his teacher, and now since she's dead, she doesn't really know what to do. People say he committed suicide, but nobody actually knows the truth, because last time you meet him is on that near that huge pool up above the City of Tears. And we're gonna go to the City of Tears for a moment right now, actually. So when you meet Quirrell, he's telling you some parts of his story, and that's gonna be the last time you see him, because after a while, when you come back, Quirrell will nowhere to be found. There will be just his nail, and there will be no sign of Quirrell. And people think that he actually drowned himself, but nobody actually knows where he left. Probably he drowned himself, but I don't know. It's kind of a sad thing, because you can just sit there. You can basically physically sit nearby and sort of talk to him and stuff. Which is pretty sad, because you get really used to this character, because you see him a lot, because he is always nearby. He's always somewhere talking about some shit and telling you some stuff, and you meet him a lot throughout the game, so you get used to him so much, and not seeing him again is a very, very hard thing to understand and to get used to. The next location I am going to tell you about is Royal Waterways, because I forgot about this location at all. You can get into Royal Waterways at any point when you want to, because when you have a simple key, you will be able to activate the place, the entrance to Royal Waterways. I think there is no way to get to Royal Waterways except for the... Well, there is another way, but I think that mostly people get through, into Royal Waterways through the City of Tears. It is the most common and easier way to get into Royal Waterways. In Royal Waterways, you will meet a boss. Wow, there are two bosses. And there is gonna be a very huge location where you will meet the part which is considered to be the ending, the main and the true ending of the game, but we're gonna talk about it a little later. So when you get to Royal Waterways, it is one of the creepiest locations in the game, because there are many mimic sort of creatures. And they sound so fucking creepy. I still remember I was getting through Royal Waterways and I stumbled upon that creature. I forgot how they're called, but they're really scary. These tall guys that sound someone says something like this shit, and this is so scary. Like, when you stumble upon them for the first time, you will be fucking scared to death, because when you kill them, they're not fucking dying. They're not. No, they're gonna just fucking split into two different enemies, and one of them will be activated immediately and another one will be activated a bit after, and they can fucking run walls. It's so fucking scary. What the fuck? I was so scared. I remember how I started like screaming at that point because I didn't know what to do, because somebody was attacking me and I thought that I killed the enemy, or at least its lower part. No, you didn't. Fucking forget about it. There will be another creature. Like, what the hell is this? It is really creepy when you stumble upon these guys. They're so scary. And I don't get how Cornifer actually got there, because you can find him after a huge amount of enemies and he will be like, oh well, I'm not a great fighter. Like, what the fuck? You got through a huge amount of enemies and you're telling me you're not a great fighter and you're not in that shape to fight people off? What the hell is that? I don't know how he got through there, how he got into that place where you find him in Royal Waterways, but apparently you do. Also, in the Royal Waterways, you are preferable to have a Desolate Dive, because one of the benches in the game is hidden behind the breakable floor. That's why you will have to get the Desolate Dive to have at least a safe point. If you go to the right side of Royal Waterways, you will meet Dun Defender, or the Great Ogrim, how you would like to call him. Dun Defender is the funniest, easiest, well, it's not the easiest, but it is the funniest boss in the game. He's always laughing, he doesn't take the fight seriously, he's like always, his attacks are pretty fun. The whole arena is a huge pile of dun, and he's gonna be just sometimes he's gonna go under it and just crawl, then just jump out. He's gonna throw dung balls at you, and he's like, in all honesty, it's one of my favorite characters in the whole game, because it's the cutest and the most adorable characters. He is protecting his wife's grove. I think she's his wife. I know that she's his girlfriend for sure, but I'm not if she's his wife. So he's gonna protect Isma's grove, which you will need to get Isma's tear, and Isma's tear allows you to swim in acid, and this is going to be really important when you will try to get to the first dreamer. So I would actually tell you, like, after you get the Desolate Dive, go to Royal Waterways and then go to Crystal Peak, because it's easier when you have Isma's tear. Trust me, it's gonna be much easier that way. After you defeat Dung Defender, you will be able to get to Isma, and you will be sorta able to get to other parts of the game, but you will probably get to them a little later, because, well, it's how the game works. I will tell you about it. Just wait. You just wait. After you defeat the first Dreamer, you can get back to Forgotten Crossroads if you will need that for any thing. I don't know what for, but as far as I know, no matter which Dreamer you defeat, Forgotten Crossroads are gonna be completely infected. Some of the places are gonna be locked off. You will not be able to get there anymore, and you will not be able to use certain shortcuts, so the game is gonna lock you to use certain paths to get back here and there, and I'd say it becomes really creepy. Many creatures like Vengeflies are gonna be infected. They're gonna have their like enhanced forms, and they're gonna be really scary. As far as I know, you like the place becomes infected after you either kill one of the Dreamers or get the double jump. But I can make a mistake, and I'm really sorry, because I don't remember when, for me, Forgotten Crossroads became fully infected. Because I backtracked to Forgotten Crossroads at one point just because, and I did it sort of by accident, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? What the fuck is everything infected? So it was really unexpected. So after a while, when you kill your first dreamer, you will need to get to other dreamers, of course. And the thing is that the second dreamer I killed was Hera, and she is located in the Deep Nest. Deep Nest is a horror location of the game. After I got Isma's Tear, I was able to explore Fog Canyon and, of course, Queen's Gardens. So I kinda explored Queen's Gardens, I explored half of Queen's Gardens, and then I explored Fog Canyon a little bit, so I just went here and there, sorta. And I was exploring Queen's Gardens at that point. I was looking, like, all around, and at one point, I stumbled upon a place which is really dark, which is really creepy, and that's how I got into Deep Nest. First time when I got into Deep Nest was from the side of Queen's Gardens, and I was like, what the hell is this? It is the darkest, the creepiest location where you can, like, ever go. It is a horror location, and I really enjoy the OST of this location because there is actually no music, practically no music in Deep Nest. The whole music, quote unquote, of the location is sort of sounds of the location. So you always hear someone crawling, you always hear some creepy sounds of different spiders, enemies like that, and all of these creatures are combining their sounds into sort of a special OST for Deep Nest, and this is really scary. I really enjoy Deep Nest as a horror factor, and of course, if you don't have a lantern, good luck, because you will not see anything in the whole Deep Nest. There are some rooms which are a little bit lit up, so you can see a little part of it, but most of the time you will not be able to see practically anything without the lantern, so you will have a lot of problems. I remember I escaped the Deep Nest that time really quickly because I thought that it's too scary for me. And I got into Deep Nest for the second time through fungal wastes, I guess. Or, well, I don't remember. Yeah, there's like a grants between fungal wastes and Queen's Gardens, if I'm not mistaken, and there is a point where you can just fall down through a very long tunnel, and this is a way to get into Deep Nest. And I got into Deep Nest, I found the sort of how they called hot springs, and I started to explore Deep Nest. I wasn't exploring it for a long time because I really wanted to run away. It was a pretty creepy and hard location because you cannot see anything, you don't know where you're jumping, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know who you're fighting. Most of the enemies are just hiding away from you, and this is really creepy. This is beginning to be really scary, and after a while you just want to get away from there, but you cannot because you have to explore this location. And as far as I remember, I got through Deep Nest not that quick. I guess, well, nah, Deep Nest is Deep Nest. I know that you can, like, you have to get through Deep Nest. There is a boss in Deep Nest, by the way, I forgot about it. I'm gonna tell you about this in a sec. You have to get to Deep Nest to fight the tram pass. This is the most important thing. You will have to find a tram pass there, and tram pass is gonna allow you to get to other places and other locations that you will be able to check a little bit later when you find a tram. because to find a tram you will have to get to lower part of the deep nest, then go right, and then you will stumble upon the tram. Well, at least the tram station. The old tram pass you can locate when you go to the upper left side, sorta. And there is also Hera. Hera doesn't have a boss fight. Hera has only sort of a platforming section. I don't know how to call it. It's the easiest dreamer to kill because it is not guarded by anybody. You can just go there and just get through this place pretty easily, but it has a very creepy factor because I still remember it was actually creepy. It was scary as hell because when you enter this place you see a lot of different creatures. You see like other dudes standing near a bench and you're like, wow, this is a safe spot then. You think that this is a safe spot because there are not many safe spots in the in Deep Nest, and you really actually think that this is a safe spot because it's sort of a town, a city, I don't know, like there are places like small, I don't know, cabins I would call them, where you can get in them, and that means that it should be a safe spot, right? And when you sit on the bench, they tie you up with the like strings, and they start to close up on you. And this is so creepy, and the music changes, the music appears, and it changes into a very scary musical sound, like the music box sort of sound, and this is really scary. This is really creepy. That's how you get to Hera, and when you kill Hera, I guess you have to do some stuff to, like, you need to fight Hornet for the second time before you fight Hera, if I'm not mistaken, to get Hornet there. And Hornet is gonna tell you that Hera was her mother or something like that, and that Hornet is very kind of sad about this because Hornet is the creature of the Deep Nest, and this is very interesting. Actually, it's also a part of the plot. So you'll be able to get to Hera, you will be able to fight Hera, and after that you will be left with only one dreamer, which is in the City of Tears. Before that, we will talk about other locations which I didn't tell you about right now because I either ignored them or forgot about them, and then we're gonna move on closer to the ending of the game. If you want to support me with more than just liking and subscribing, consider checking out the link in the description. There you can donate any sum of money starting from $1. Any donation is appreciated. Thank you in advance. So let's start with the most right, I guess, place that we didn't talk about yet. It's the Kingdom's Edge. Kingdom's Edge is the place where you have to go because it is required for a full completion of the game. Well, at least I think it is required because you will have to fight Hornet there for the second time, and she is a boss that is really important for the plot and stuff, so you will have to go to the Kingdom's Edge. There you will meet also Oro, which I don't enjoy. I don't like this guy. He's a very, very bad brother, I would say. You can bring him the flower, and I think that this is a very good thing because I really enjoy the way that he says that he's going to throw the flower away and then he just puts it into a vase. It is really cute. I think in Kingdom's Edge, the most important thing that you can get is a part of the king's, special king's, how it's called, charm. And, well, there is somewhat a part of the story, part of the plot, which happened, what actually happened in Hollow Nest. And I think that going to Kingdom's Edge is mostly to get some parts of the plot and actually get through Kingdom's Edge to the Coliseum of Fools, because if you get up on top of Kingdom's Edge, sorta, you can get to Coliseum of Fools, which is basically arena type place where you can fight 3 arenas. In the end of the last arena, you will get a boss fight. There is a place where you can just relax and sit there. You can also find Zote there, and you will fight Zote first time you enter the first arena, if I'm not mistaken. When you get through the arena, in the end there will be the last quote-unquote boss who you need to fight, and this is going to be fight against Zote, who's going to, in the end, just come back from the Coliseum of Fools, and he will be located in the Dirtmouth after that, and he's going to stay there for till the end of time. And the thing is that if you fight Zote in Coliseum of Fools, you're going to open up, and if you actually saved Beretta, you will open up a place in Bretta's house that will lead you to a real Zote boss fight. And Zote is a dream boss, which is a pretty interesting and neat thing, but I really hate him as a boss because he is one of that bosses which you need to kill not one time. Like, there are, if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 bosses out of dream bosses which you need to kill like for a certain amount of times to get rid of them completely from the game. The second one is the White Defender, so Ogrim, and well, I didn't fight them that long because it started to get really annoying, and as far as I know, all the attacks that Zote actually does, they're all randomized, and you cannot predict what he's gonna do, and this is always a huge deal and a huge problem. That's why I hate this boss a lot, and he's a huge pain in the ass in the Pantheons, and I guess this is why I like had a lot of trouble. Well, I had a lot of trouble because of this guy, because there is like a lot of different creatures that are a lot of bosses in one Pantheon which I don't like, and they're all in a row sort of thing. So after Kingdom's Edge, we're gonna go down and get to the Hive. The Hive is a secret location, and the Hive appeared only in the DLC, in the... I forgot the name of the DLC. Great, Madame S, I'm sorry. So, like, the DLC with those blue creatures that you can kill and get additional souls. Well, not soul, additional masks. Blue masks. What can I say about the Hive? Well, first off, I found the Hive really by accident. I came to the Hive from the side of the Ancient Basin, and I came from that side, and I didn't know that there is a Hive. I was about to go away from the parts where the Hive is located, and the Hive is located behind a breakable wall. So it is... Well, there are bees here and there, so you can understand that there is something up with this place. Like, there are bees in some of the rooms, and they're really nearby the Hive. And you can either open it by accident when you are trying to kill the bees with Vengeful Spirit, but I didn't kill them with Vengeful Spirit because I don't use spells most of the time. And I was about to go out of the room, and suddenly I saw, like, with the corner of my eye, that there is, like, some crevices of the wall are shining. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I decided to punch the wall, and I opened the Hive, and I was like, whoa, hello. And to be honest, the Hive is one of the most difficult locations, but I think that it is better to go into the Hive to get that, like, honey sort of charm, because it is going to be really important when you're gonna go to White Palace, if you're gonna go to White Palace at all, because I know that you can ignore the White Palace, it is not required to go through it, but this is actually, the White Palace is one of my favorite places, but I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later. So the Hive gave me a lot of trouble because first of all, to get through the Hive you will need a lot of strength, you will need to be prepared, because the whole hive, it doesn't have any shortcuts at first, because you're gonna do shortcuts when you're gonna get through the game. So, well, when you're gonna get through the location, of course. And when you're going through the hive, there are a lot of different enemies. There is a huge easy platforming section, but there are bees that destroy platforms. There are bees that fly around that are pretty hard to kill sometimes, and there is only one bench which is located really not close to the boss of the hive, and this is a huge deal, because when the boss kills you, and it will kill you a couple of times at least if you're not careful enough, and if you don't know the attacks of that boss, you're gonna have a lot of trouble with it, and you're gonna be left on the bench. You're gonna wake up on the bench, and you will understand that you're really far. You're practically in the entrance of the hive, because the bench is near the entrance, and you need to go inside of the hive again. And to get inside of the hive, knowing that every bee respawned again, and every bee you killed when you started to get into the hive is respawned again, and you have to get through this all over again, this is a huge deal. So you start to open up every single shortcut you can, and in the end you're just running from shortcut to shortcut just to get through this, because you don't want to like kill any more bees, you don't want to deal with it, because you are really kind of scared of them at this point. You know that there are big bees which deal 2 masks of damage, and this is like a lot, and you don't have really much strength at that point to like get through that when you are getting through it for the 5th or the 6th time or something like that. It's like a huge deal. I can understand people who didn't play through the hive in the end, because like fuck this shit, it's not, no, nuh-uh. I don't want this anymore. So since we started to talk about Ancient Bazin, I didn't talk about Ancient Bazin too much, because I just said that I got wings from there, well, monarch wings, the double jump. But, well, Ancient Bazin was a place which is technically the most lore-related place in the whole game. Because in Ancient Bazin you start to understand who you are, that you are not the Hollow Knight, that you are just a ghost, and the Hollow Knight is another character. There is a character named Hollow Knight in the game, but it is not you. You're playing as a little ghost, like Hornet called you, and you're a very small creature, like one of the many other creatures. You will be able to get the Shadow Cloak from down the Ancient Bazin, and well, good thing, good for you. I don't know, like I don't remember much from that place, because it's a dull, dark place with a lot of history and a lot of lore-related shit, and I was like, nah, I didn't have any adventures there. It was just a simple thing that I got through, and that was all. Like, it didn't affect me that much. Now, since we are talking about Ancient Bazin, it's time to talk about White Palace. I love White Palace. It is really my favorite location, I think, and I love it like hella lot. And this is the best location, I think, there is in the whole game in terms of platforming sections, because if you have played the game, you know that Queen's Gardens are also a huge platforming location. Like, there is a lot of platforming sections which are great, and you think, like, you might enjoy them a lot. I can understand and respect that, but I like White Palace a lot more. There are 3 main paths you will have to go through, and this is all actually to get second half of the charm. So you will have to go through a lot of different paths, which are all platforming sections with saws, with a lot of walls to climb. There are a lot of things. And there is also a fourth path called the Path of Pain. And the Path of Pain, I haven't got through the Path of Pain. Sadly, I didn't have enough, I couldn't sit enough in front of my PC to get through it, and I'm really sad about it. But sometimes I get back to this place, and sometimes I try to replay it because I love platforming sections more than boss fights, and it is more interesting for me to play through White Palace platforming sections. I'm really sad still that after you complete the platforming sections from White Palace, all the free paths, you will not be able to replay them. As far as I know, you will not be able to replay any of them, and this is like the saddest thing ever. Wow, thanks so much. Thanks for nothing, game. Well, sadly, there is no way, and you just have to get used to it. So, the location that I didn't talk about a lot is... I guess Queen's Gardens I kind of didn't talk about that much, because talking about Queen's Gardens, you better know that when you get to Resting Grounds, you can get to a lady whose name I forgot, and she's very sad. There is a very sad warrior in one of the parts of the Resting Grounds, and she will give you the fragile flower. And if you get hit, the flower will break. I think if you get hit. Yeah, if you get hit, the flower will break. And the thing is that you need to get through the whole map and get to Queen's Gardens, to one specific mantis grave, and put that flower there, because girlfriend of that sad creature appears to be a mantis which died in Queen's Gardens, and which grave is located in Queen's Gardens. But you can use this flower, you can take this flower and give it to, for example, Elderbug, and Elderbug will take the flower. You can give this flower to Oro, and you can give this flower to the lady in the dump, whatever I can call this place, in Royal Waterways. And, well, they're gonna take it, and one of these places, like when you give this flower to that lady, she's located in the junk pit. I forgot how Godseeker, something like that. Well, if you give this flower to the Godseeker, you will be up to the best possible ending in the whole game. But you need to get this flower from one side of the map to another. And if you think I didn't do it, I fucking did it. It was a hard thing, but if you really want to go and research Fireborn's video about it, he talked about how to get this the easiest way possible, and this is actually really easy. It's easier than it seems, that's for sure. You just have to be careful in some places, but it is better to watch his video. He's gonna explain it much better than I did. Anyways, I think we talked about every location that I could talk about. I think I talked about everything. At least I think so. Well, I talked about the Abyss, but I called it, I was talking about the Ancient Basin, and I was talking about the Abyss at the same time, and didn't make this location separated. I just called them one location, and this is, I guess, dumb. But yeah, actually, the other location is the Abyss, where you can get some story and Shade Cloak. So yeah, just for you to know, when I was talking about the Ancient Basin and I started to talk about Shade Cloak and a lot of lore things, it is not just Ancient Basin, it's the Abyss too. I'm just a little bit dumb. And I'm also a little dumbass. I just researched a little bit. I checked because I really wanted to know if I actually did mention everything. I'm a little dumbass because in Kingdom's Edge, you don't get the half of the King Soul, the charm that I was talking about, that you get half of the King Soul in White Palace. You get actually King's Brand, which you need in the game. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit dumb. I forget some stuff because I played the game long time ago and I haven't replayed it fully. I have replayed it some parts just to remind myself what the game actually feels like and so on and so forth. And I guess we can get to the endings and the pantheons and stuff. What is pantheons? Pantheons is where you need to collect every single boss in the game, and pantheons are sort of a challenge, at least I would call them so. You need to have to go to the junk pit in Royal Waterways, and there will be Godseeker or whatever her name is, and then you will be able to dream nail her and access. Well, you need to open her coffin with a simple key, and you will be able to dream nail her and access the pantheons. Pantheons are basically a boss rush. And to complete the whole game, you will need to complete the 5th and the final pantheon, the Pantheon of Hollowness. And I'm a dumbass and I couldn't open this freaking pantheon. I stopped on 3rd pantheon and it was really hard for me. I didn't complete the 3rd pantheon and I'm really sad about it. I didn't complete the game on the best possible ending, although I could because I brought to the Godseeker or whatever her name is the flowers. So if I played a little bit more, maybe I could complete it. Anyways, I got stuck. First 3 pantheons are really interesting because in the first pantheon, the end boss of the whole pantheon, because pantheon is gonna have some bosses which you have already seen, which you already played through, and in the end there will be a special boss which you haven't thought in the game, and here this boss is Mato and Oro. They're fighting together. At first, if I'm not mistaken, Mato fights alone, and then they fight together. So the Nail Masters come back. And the thing is that Mato and Oro, they had a lot of arguing between each other. They are on different parts of the map, and they hate each other because one of them betrayed the other. And this is very interesting to see them fight together, and when they combine their efforts to defeat you, and they show how they're actually still brothers and they still love each other no matter what happened between them, and this is really cool. The second pantheon ends with Shio, which is amazing. I love this fight. Shio is amazing. Sadly, he doesn't have any additional brothers. He's gonna fight on his own with Paints, and I really enjoy fight against him. He's a very reasonable, cool brother. And the third pantheon ends with Sly. Unexpected, right? Yeah, Sly is the nail master who taught all the 3 brothers, and this is something you find out in the game when you buy everything from Sly, if I'm not mistaken, or at least when you learn every single nail art and you come back to Sly and he actually recognizes it. And this is so sad to understand because he doesn't know what happened to the brothers, and he haven't seen them for a very long time since he just got stuck in Forgotten Crossroads and stuff, and this is really sad. He hopes that brothers actually do still love each other and are staying close together and stuff, and he says something about he taught them all that stuff, and this is so cute. And This was the first time in the entire game I actually started crying. Like when you come to Sly and he's not there, you can just go down into his basement and he's gonna sit there and start talking about Shiomaro and Oro, and you're basically like standing there and you're listening to whatever he's saying. And at one point I just started crying. I don't know why. This was the only part in the whole game I actually started crying, and I really was sitting there. I was in tears and I couldn't do anything with myself. This was so painful. I can't explain it at all. So after you complete the third pantheon, there's also a fourth pantheon, and the fourth pantheon is a pantheon against the Hollow Knight itself. So you sort of end up with that interesting creature. There is actually a very nice thing because you can fight against Radiance. And what the hell is Radiance? I'm gonna explain a little later. I'm not gonna talk about Fourth Pantheon a lot because I haven't watched that many videos about it, because like, yeah, it's the part of the lore, yeah, you actually completed, you killed like the final boss, and yeah, you can end the game here, but no, there is a fifth pantheon, the hardest challenge in the whole game, called Pantheon of Hallownest. Pantheon of Hallownest is every single boss in the game, every single one boss in the game in a row. And this is so awesome. People who play through Pantheon of Hallownest, they are my gods. I have never played through it, but I can only imagine how hard it must be to play through every single boss fight in the entire game, practically perfect, praying that you're gonna stay alive till the end, because in the end of it all, you're gonna fight the Radiance for the last time. And after you defeat the Radiance, you defeat the infection itself with the dark creature of darkness, of the abyss, and it actually is over. And this is such a cool ending. I think that the real true ending, which you get by giving the Godseeker flower, it's the only ending where Little Ghost is kinda probably alive, because Little Ghost is now a part of the Abyssal, that dark creature which kills the Radiance. The plot behind Hollow Knight is pretty simple actually, but you have to research to understand it. Well, I would say that it's really simple concept of there was a cute, cool kingdom, and at one point like some people who, like bugs, who didn't like that kingdom attacked it and infected everybody, and they thought that they're gonna be like main dudes over here, but at one point you just come as a hero and rescue the whole Hallownest, the kingdom and stuff. The thing is that I think that if Hallownest is gonna be under Radiance, there's gonna be too much light, because Radiance is basically light itself. Radiance is sun itself. And since Hallownest is a world of bugs, which is probably underground, I think that they are used to darkness. They're used to living in darkness. So when the darkness actually kills the Radiance and gets out of the Godseeker's mind and stuff, that shows that Hallownest is gonna be in total darkness now, in control of total darkness, which gives a little thought that Hallownest is now gonna be a happy place, sort of, for every bug which is still alive. I think that other endings are really sad, because in every other ending, Little Ghost dies. If you go to the Egg Temple after killing Dreamers and you kill the Hollow Knight out there, you're gonna be replacing him afterwards. There is a thing that if you bring Hornet there, if she comes, she will give you the fight with Radiance, I guess, with sort of a easier version of Radiance. ends, and that's how you end up the game. But in the end, you're always gonna be dead. Like, there is gonna be one way or another how the ghost will die in the end. So the game doesn't end happily, like, at all. Like, well, it does, but it doesn't end that happy in any case. So it's like a very sad game about sad events that you cannot make happier. I think, like, for me, the happiest ending is the most true ending that you can get. In any case, I guess I might say a little bit about technical part, because it was really hard for me to get used to play Hollow Knight. I think overall it was hard for me because I played Ori beforehand, and Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps both parts are really, I don't know, Ori as a character is very agile and very fast, so in the end you just play as a character whose whose steps feel like a feather or something like that, and the character always jumps around. It's easy to interact with. You have a lot of platforming sections, and you get used to it very fast. And in the end, like, when you're getting to Hollow Knight after that, you cannot get used to the slowness of the character, because Little Ghost is actually slow. It is a very slow character. He jumps differently, he acts differently, and that's why for me the game was kinda too slow at some points, and I think that I was feeling really strange. I had a lot of trouble to get used to every part of the game. It was really hard for me to get used to healing, because the healing mechanic is something that I never saw in other games that much. And that's why it was a big problem for me. But in the end, I got used to many things, and in the end, Hollow Knight taught me to look at every wall, try to hit every wall, and I was having a lot of fun at the end of the game. And I still like to get back to Hollow Knight and replay some sections, play some small parts of the game, play against bosses and stuff. It's really interesting. I like it a lot. I think that Hollow Knight is a game which I pretty much enjoy, and I like it somehow, kinda. But it's not the best game that I can recommend to everybody, but I think that if you really like something that is kind of depressing but at the same time really interesting in terms of exploration and learning a lot of new things, and you also like challenging boss fights and stuff, challenging platforming sections, you should play Hollow Knight if you didn't. Like, it's a great game. It totally is a great game. I think people tell the truth when they say that this is one of the best Metroidvanias to ever exist. So, in any case, thanks everybody for listening to this podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't do that. Also, please write a comment to promote this podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a nice one.